Hi there, and welcome to another Tale from the Tank. Today I'll show you around my fish room, also functioning as office, or maybe that's the other way around. I hope you'll enjoy the ride. We've moved into this house just 2 years ago, and this room with its alcove, which originally seemed to have been designed for a built-in wardrobe that never was, lends itself really well for the purpose. Unless there are floor tiles is all I'm saying, because there's always spills and drips around here. So let's have a look around. So in here we have the AquaOne Lifestyle 94 liters, the first bigger tank. It is of course still not big, but I focus on small tropical fish, and so this size, maybe a little bigger, I find entirely adequate to have a balance between space, maintenance and enjoyment. The main tank racks hold the breeding and grow-out tanks and are also used for storage. I'm just in the process of moving things around from the rack to the temporary shelf in front of the window to set up the somewhat larger grow-out tanks that sit at the bottom of this shelf in this shot. I go through each bit in a little detail with links of sources in the descriptions below. I'm not affiliated with any of the brands or items I talk about, even though I will refer links to them in the description should you wish to explore those yourself. This is definitely positively only a temporary solution while I'm moving the really small tanks that sit currently in the rack to here and set up those somewhat bigger tanks in the bottom shelf here in the lower shelf of the rack. At least that's the solution should I get overrun by fish having unplanned pregnancy, I guess. The cart on the right has proven to be extremely useful when doing tank maintenance. It contains all materials required, such as water conditioner, test kit, fertilizer, little containers for plant cutoffs or other debris coming out of the tanks, tweezers, scrapers, clamps and siphoning hoses, towel, etc. The top is sturdy enough to hold a full bucket of water to pump back into the tanks, and it rolls around the room where I need it. I put a link to it in the description. These are heavy-duty rivet rack shelves. I used to have one larger one here, but notice they sag in the middle under the weight of the tanks, even though the weight per shelf was way below their capacity as advertised. So buyer beware, I guess. Here I store much of the day-to-day tank maintenance and feeding supplies as well, and all the breeding or grow-out tanks. So we have 2 Fluval Flex 57s here, 1 Fluval Flex 34 liter, which was the tank that it started it all, 1 AquaOne Focus 36 liter, which I acquired when the Apistogramma cacatoides were quite a bit more prolific with their breeding than I anticipated, and 2 Kmart 20 liter starter kit tanks, which are great value to use as a quarantine or fry tank with some modifications. So in the first Flex 57, I currently grow out half of the as yet unsold Apistogramma cacatoides. By the way, if you're in the Sydney area, these are on special as of February 25. It is a well-established tank that's been running for a couple of years. The number of fish is a bit much for a small tank like this, but with frequent maintenance works really well. These young ones are now maturing. Thankfully, the aggression amongst the males distributes so that nobody gets too stressed out. I have 2 Otocinclus in here as well, just to keep things tidy, and they do really well too. And of course, the moment you point these fish to a cave, they get on with it. And this young mother now herds her first offspring around in front of the cave. I reckon that won't last, as unfortunately the others in the tank do not see children, just a tasty treat. So this is the tank where it all started out with back in 2020. It's a Fluval Flex 34 liters, so really small, nano tank they call it in the trade, I guess. It's gone through a number of reconfigurations over the years, and currently it's home to one of the mothers of the Apistogrammas you've seen before. I keep her by herself, even though that might be a bit boring. Because if I put a male in there with her, you see the cave in the background, they're gonna be at it, and I have even more fish to look after. I think I have enough at the moment. But ain't she the pretty one? She's very curious and interactive with what goes on in front of the tank. The second Flex 57 liter currently is home to what I call the monster. an Australian long-arm shrimp that got here by accident when I purchased a few algae-eating shrimp online, and while they were all little, this one looked similar, but that didn't last. Eventually I had to separate it from the tanks with fish as it was going after the smaller ones. Here he keeps the cherry shrimp colony under control from exploding. By the way, I intend to make a video of a long-term review of the Fluval Flex tanks. There's so much to talk about there. So don't forget to like and subscribe not to miss that one. This AquaOne Focus 36 liters I use as a grower tank for the remaining apistogramma. I had to throw out the stock filter and replace it with the Fluval U3. That's a bit overkill for the little tank, but so is the stock level at present, and this works much better than the stock filter setup. So here now is the rack in its new configuration, with the AquaOne moved to the right and the new so-called instant fish tanks to the left. Setup of those is coming up, and I may just make a video of that effort when I get to it. And the hopefully temporary shelf now hold the little 20-liter tanks until I have moved the endless on. I had to separate boys from girls here, as they breed like mad if you let them, and the numbers are already scary. That's 3 generations, as you will see. So in one tank now the boys, that is Daddy and his 7 sons, and in the other one the girls, that is the 2 mums and her kids, and grandkids as it were. As these grow and it becomes apparent who's male, they get moved out to the boys only tank. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen. And there you have it. This is how things stand right now in this fish room. On the desk on the left you see the supplies for the little apistogramma fry, while they're still there. A brine shrimp hatchery which works really well for small amounts, and I'll make a review of that one in the future as well, I think. And a bottle with vinegar eels from my ongoing culture. I hope you found this interesting. If you have questions or want to see a video focusing in on specifics of what you've seen here today, please leave a comment and please like and subscribe, so I see you again in the next Tale from the Tank.